Hello friends, welcome to Dungeons & Dragonfly, where I adapt various characters for use in D&D. I'm Dragonfly9078, and today's build is a patron request. This is Aeolian from Ghostblade. So what do we want from this build? Well, Aeolian is a highly trained warrior, so we'll need her fighting skills and her unique lion claw weapons. She's also trained in diplomacy, and is shaping up to be a capable leader for her people, though she is still a bit young. And we'll need to be able to dance, to grab the attention of any visiting princesses. Looking over at ability scores, I'll be using the standard point array. If you want to roll for stats, that's fine, just make sure your strength, dexterity, and wisdom are high enough to multiclass. Starting out with a 14 in strength and a 15 in dex. We're a trained fighter and dancer, so we need good physical stats. Constitution is a little low for my taste, but we'll boost it a bit later, and we'll dump intelligence since we just don't need it for much. Wisdom is more necessary to be a good leader, so that can be 12, and we'll finish up with our 13 in charisma, since Aeolian is famed for her beauty in the northern desert. For our race, we'll go with a variant human, giving us +1 to our dexterity and intelligence, then we'll take performance for our skill and upgrade it to an expertise with the performer feat. That also bumps our charisma up by 1 and lets us distract a humanoid with our dance. We make a performance check against their insight, and if we succeed, they have disadvantage on all perception and investigation checks until we're done performing. Since we are the princess of the northern desert, we'll use the noble background, giving us proficiency in history and persuasion, then we'll start off as a barbarian. For our skills, we'll say athletics and animal handling, and with unarmored defense, our AC while not wearing armor is 10 plus our dex and con modifiers. Aeolian doesn't wear armor, and she fights in melee, so we do need to stay safe somehow. She's also got a little bit of a temper, so we can enter a rage as a bonus action. For up to a minute, we get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, we have advantage on strength checks and saves, and we add extra damage to our strength-based melee attacks. Also, starting as a barbarian does give us proficiency with constitution saves, which we'll need in the desert. Second level barbarians get a danger sense, giving us advantage on dexterity saves against visible effects. And Aeolian can be impulsive, so we'll be able to make reckless attacks, giving us advantage on strength-based melee attacks for the turn in return for giving all attacks against us advantage. We can pick up another barbarian skill at 3rd level. We'll go with nature. Warriors of the northern desert tend to use weapons that are designed to mimic animals, and Aeolian is no exception, so we'll get her desert lion claws with the Path of the Beast. While we're raging, we can turn our hands into claws, which count as simple melee weapons and deal 1d6 slashing damage on a hit. Plus, once per turn when we use them for the attack action, we can make an extra claw attack for free. We'll bump wisdom to 14 with our first ASI to hit our multiclassing minimum. Then at 5th level, we can attack twice with the attack action, or 3 times if we use our claws. And our walking speed increases by 10 feet. At 6th level, the superior craftsmanship of the northern desert weaponsmiths lets our claws count as magical to bypass damage resistances and immunities. And since Aeolian does have special leg claws as well, we can use them to boost our jumps. Once per turn when we jump, we can make an athletics check, and then add the total of that check to our jump distance in feet. Switching over to monk to get our martial arts training, we can use our dexterity for the attack and damage rolls of our unarmed strikes and monk weapons. Monk weapons are simple melee weapons that aren't two-handed or heavy, so our claws do qualify. Though keep in mind that any attacks you use dex for won't get extra damage from our rage or advantage from reckless attack. We can also make an unarmed strike as bonus action after taking the attack action for a total of 4 attacks in a round at the moment, and our unarmed strikes deal a d4 of damage. Monks get their own version of unarmored defense that uses wisdom instead of constitution. Now technically we can't get it since we do already have the barbarian version, but the monk version is both higher and more in character for Aeolian since she tends to rely on dodging attacks rather than tanking hits. So see if your DM will let you use this one instead. We could have started with Monk to get their unarmored defense first, but Barbarian had the starting skills and starting saves that I wanted. At 2nd level we get even faster, as our speed goes up by another 10 feet while we aren't wearing armor. And we get key points. We have 1 key point per monk level, they recharge on any rest, and we can use them for our monk abilities, like Patient Defense for a bonus action dodge, Step of the Wind for a bonus action dash or disengage that also doubles our jump distance, or Flurry of Blows to make 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action after the attack action, for a total of 5 attacks in 1 round. We can deflect Lenia's crossbow bolts with Deflect Missiles, which uses our reaction to reduce the damage of an incoming projectile by 1d10 plus our dexterity modifier and monk level, and then since we specialize in a unique weapon, we will become a Kensei. Kensei are refined, as a princess should be, so we get proficiency with Calligrapher's tools. And we get to pick 2 Kensei weapons, 1 melee, 1 ranged, which have to not have the heavy or special properties. We'll pick our claws and the short bow, since Aeolian is a skilled archer and can shoot while mounted on her lion. With our claws, we can boost our AC by 2 for the turn if we take the attack action and make at least 1 unarmed strike as part of it. So we can attack with a claw, get our free claw attack, and then throw out a kick and get the AC bonus. Then with our bow, we can use our bonus action to add an extra d4 to the damage of every shot we take during our turn. Our next ASI will go to our Constitution for a bit more HP, and we can slow down our falls, reducing any falling damage we take by 5 times our monk level. Unfortunately, we don't get extra attack at 5th level since we already have it from Barbarian, but our martial arts die does go up to a d6, and we can use a key point to stun a creature we hit with a melee attack if they fail a Constitution save. Then at 6th level, our speed goes up by another 5 feet, our unarmed strikes and Kensei weapons all count as magical, and we can empower our Kensei weapons, spending a key point when we hit with one to deal an extra martial arts die of damage, though only once per turn. 7th level is all about defense. On the physical side, evasion lets us take no damage from a dex save we pass and half on a fail, rather than half on a success and full on a fail. And on the mental side, stillness of mind lets us use our action to end an effect of charming or frightening on ourselves. We'll finish off with a few levels of fighter. Second Wind is a quick self-heal. We can use our bonus action to heal for 1d10 plus our fighter level once per rest, and we can carry a smoke bomb with us to make a fainting attack once per rest. We use our bonus action to distract a creature within 5 feet of us, giving us advantage on our next attack against them, and increasing the damage of that attack by 1d6 if it hits, though it might not work on someone who's especially elusive. At 2nd level, we can action surge to take a second action on our turn once per rest, and at 3rd, we'll become a samurai. That gives us insight proficiency for free, and gives us fighting spirit. 3 times per day, we can use our bonus action to get advantage on all weapon attacks we make until the end of the turn, as well as 5 temporary HP. Our dex goes up to 18 with our next ASI, then we'll skip 5th level since, again, we already have extra attack, and use our last ASI to pick up the Naturalist feat. That'll round off our intelligence to 10 and boost our nature proficiency to an expertise, so we know about all kinds of plants from around the world and can care for them once Ghostblade brings them back to us. We can also cast Detect Poison and Disease once per day, useful for a ruler, and Druidcraft to summon swarms of water-light butterflies to accompany our dancing. Our capstone is the 7th level of Samurai for Elegant Courtier. We can add our Wisdom modifier to any persuasion checks we make, and we get proficiency with Wisdom saves. Now that the build is complete, let's take a look and see what we have done. Well, we get lots of attacks, 4 per round without spending any resources, which we have the option to use Strength for if we want an advantage from Reckless attack. Our Dex is higher than our Strength though, so if we want to use that, we do still have ways of getting advantage with Fighting Spirit and Fainting attack, though those are limited use and limit us to 3 attacks since they use our bonus action. Really, in terms of combat, we're suited to the style of fight that we saw from Aeolian. Single combat where we can focus our multitude of attacks on a single target to wear them down, while using our high speed and monk abilities to dance out of reach. We do definitely suffer a little bit against groups, especially ones where we can't just cut down the enemies in one blow. We have a lot of attacks, but none of them do more than a d6 of damage. And once we run out of resources, our main way of consistently getting advantage on our attacks opens us up to attacks. That said, we are decently sturdy, with our unarmored defense and agile parry giving us 18 AC, and a mix of good hit dice and damage resistances from rage to give us plenty of HP if we do take hits. Plus, we fit in high society, with our social skills and performance expertise to smooth our way. Thank you for watching, friends. I hope you enjoyed the build. No character poll this week, but you can head over to my community tab if you would like to vote for what you think people really get out of having stuffed animals. If you have any feedback or suggestions for characters you'd like to see me build, please leave them in the comments below and they could show up in a future poll. Leave a like or subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks again for watching. I will see y'all later.